Dr. Bob Montes, once again, just on part 3 of the Incorrigible Child. I want to talk a little bit about what happens when your child meets the criteria for being incorrigible. Now, this means basically the child is breaking the law because it is the law that a child obey his parents, and it is the law that a child respect and honor his parents. When a child starts deviating from this and continues down a pathway in which he doesn't listen to reason, we call that incorrigible, recalcitrant. There's a number of other terms that are used, unruly. All these things are terms that sort of blend together into the idea that this child is now possibly stepping into legal trouble. So you don't want to push it that far. A lot of times parents are thinking, okay, I can use this as a threat over my child. I highly discourage that. I think in many cases when you see children that are behaving this way, there's plenty of time to really get to the bottom of what's going on. You can actually, as I talked about the authoritative approach before, you can actually begin the process of asking questions. The important thing is that you want to be able to handle disrespect better. And I always keep in mind a few thoughts when it comes to children being disrespectful. A lot of times we can just forget about it, like ignore a disrespectful comment and then come back later, because oftentimes a comment that just flies off the lips of your 14 or 15-year-old son is something that they are, that maybe isn't a constant for them. And then you can come back later and talk about, hey, what you said before was not respectful. So what's going on right now? Because I really don't want to hear that kind of stuff. And oftentimes that would be enough to just really recalibrate the child in that moment. You also want to be careful that you're watching yourself, because a lot of times you have to take an inventory of really what's going on with you. Maybe you're the person that's really upset or frustrated or tense, and the child is feeling that negativity from you, and he's just simply responding just in like kind. So be careful about how that goes. But essentially, when your child is really, really in trouble, we're talking about an incorrigible child that really meets the criteria. So they actually are doing things like they're doing drugs, they're sneaking out, they're stealing, they're doing things to you that if he were an adult, he would be arrested for. So in that case, there may be a time in which, especially if you're a single mom and you feel like your child could overpower you pretty easily, you may just really have to call the police. In those instances, the police will come and make a report on your child. If your child is really someone that shouldn't be in the home, then they will escort him to juvenile. But the thing I would highly recommend before doing any of that is really to call for help. So there's counseling. You can. There's a number of good, young, sharp counselors out there that work with teenagers that might detect drug issues, and you might, nip it in the bud ahead of time. So consider doing that. You can always call my office. drbobmontes.com is one way to reach me. But the point is that what you want to do is you want to quickly find help. And if it could be someone from your church who can actually step in and actually speak to your child and possibly steer him in the right direction. So those are some easy first steps. We'll talk about the more severe kinds of things that we may need to take steps in doing, and I'll cover that in another video. Thanks a lot.